90 days away until the NFL Draft 2026. There are mock drafts, and then there's your New York Post mock draft, and this one's 3.0. Brandon London here representing Blue Rush. Frankie Vittorini representing Gangs All here, and trust, the gang is here right now, and we've got a little action for you guys. Let's get straight into our mock draft 3.0. Frankie, you talk about the difference a week makes. This is our first post-combine mock draft, ladies and gentlemen. You saw the comments. Appreciate all the comments, all the nice things that you guys said about my 2.0 mock draft.
Nice things.
Nice. It was like one nice comment in there. But don't worry, people, I can take it. I wasn't sitting with my kid reading the comments like, ooh, if I didn't have to be a dad right now, I'd respond, I'd clap back like Cardi B in these comments right now. But the whole Jeremiah Love at 5, and then everybody was like, there's no way Sonny Styles is going to be there at 24. You guys are right, but we made that. Help me out. Jump on this grenade with me. We made that mock draft before Sonny Styles runs, 4.49, and, it goes absolutely crazy with his testing numbers at the combine. So
you were right about Jeremiah Love. You
right.
were ahead of your time.
Yes.
If he's there at 5, the Giants are probably going to grab him, no?
Thank you. Did you take any heat?
I take a little heat all the time.
Right,
I'm constantly taking heat.
Okay.
It's not all at once, but throughout the day.
Hey, we take heat, shade, Venmo, Zelle. We do it all here with our mock draft. 3.0. You ready to go?
Let's go. Third time's a charm. Baby.
All right. I've got the even numbers here with the first pick of the draft. Surprise, surprise. That hasn't changed yet, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we're going to see any change. It would be nice. It would be nice for someone to throw a little wrench in there so we can, have a little bit fun with our first pick of the draft. But again, the Las Vegas Raiders get their quarterback in a Fernando Mendoza, which leaves you, Frankie Muji.
Yes.
Aaron Vittorini. Like it leaves you.
Well, that's a little jingle to it.
Don't be sleeping when we put you on camera here. Don't let us catch you asleep like they caught Aaron in there. But you were on the clock, my friend.
All right, my man. Let me tell you right now, there is one guy that the Jets need to take in this draft.
Okay.
There's one guy. And you know who that guy is?
Who's that?
That's Mr. David Bailey. And I think – now, listen, I've been going back and forth. 1 week it's Reese.
Yep.
1 week it's Bailey.
Yep.
1 hour it's Reese. 1 hour it's Bailey. It switches all the time for
change.
me.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think when it's all said and done, or it depends what day of the week it's going to be. It's a Thursday. But I think when they look at the tape, and they're doing a lot of tape study now, they're talking to people, when they're looking for an edge, and the best edge in this draft,
yep,
you're looking at David Bailey. David Bailey has a repertoire of pass rush moves that separates himself from everybody else in this draft. Nobody in this draft has the pass rush plan that David Bailey does, and he does it with violence. He's aggressive. He's fast off the edge, and he never stops. He has a motor that just keeps going. This guy will bust out a spin move out of nowhere, and that's not even something that he hangs his hat on. He does rip swims. He goes over the top. He goes underneath. He knows how to bend. He does all the things that you are looking for when it comes to being a premier edge in this game, and the Jets are going to have issues fixing that secondary. You're not going to fix it overnight. Okay. You got to get to the quarterback. Everyone's pointing at Arvell Reese at that spot. We had him there last week, and maybe next week we'll change it back to Reese potentially. But listen, Arvell Reese does not rush the passer like David Bailey. He just doesn't. Is he smoother off the edge, a little more bendy potentially? Is he more of a freak athlete to a degree? Maybe. But David Bailey is in the mold of what you're looking at when it comes to a guy that will live or die and will feed families getting to the quarterback. That's what he prides himself on, and the Jets need somebody like that. Arvell Reese does not have enough pass rush moves that I feel confident taking him at 2. The Jets in our mock right now, they're taking David Bailey at 2.
So here's my little pushback. Well, not so much a pushback. It's a question for you.
Yep.
But let me give you a couple little bullet points of what I'm thinking here, why I'd be a little bit nervous of taking this guy at number 2. Coming from the Giants' standpoint of things, Abdul Carter goes number 2
Yeah.
overall last season. If David Bailey has a season like Abdul Carter had in his rookie year, are you going to want to walk that pick back and take it back? Because when we talk about Abdul Carter and he came in wanting to unretire Lawrence Taylor's number. So if David Bailey comes in and he wants to unretire Mark Gastineau's number, all that pressure goes on him to, like you said, feed Phillies. Is more pressure go on him to have a all-pro or at least a Pro Bowl or defensive rookie of the year type season? Is it more pressure on the player or the coordinator, head coach, Aaron Glenn? Who takes more heat if David Bailey doesn't live up to what you think he could be in first year in the NFL?
I think that's a good question, but I also think we have to ask ourselves, is that enough of a sample size, even for Abdul Carter? Is that enough of a sample size 1 year? I don't know yet. So to what you're asking, if Arvell Reese is playing edge somewhere, we have him going in a few picks later.
Yep.
If Arvell Reese is playing really good edge and's got 12 sacks and Bailey's got 6.5, yeah, I may have been mistaken.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
No one's perfect. I'm gonna have my opinion on Bailey. People have their opinion on Reese. I don't know for a fact Bailey's going to be better than Reese.
Yeah. Everything's projection. Everything's projection. But at number 2,
I'll say this. If you put David Bailey in a 3-4 outside linebacker role and you coach him up and he's healthy, that dude's going to give you 12, 13 sacks. I don't know in year 1, but he'll do it in a few years. There's no reason that he can do that. There's no reason for me to believe that he won't do that. I'd be more surprised if Reese did that. I wouldn't be surprised if Bailey did that as an outside linebacker edge. Reese, not to get it back into Reese, but I think he's an inside linebacker. I do. I would rather put him as an ILB or an OLB traditionally than an edge. That's just me. And that's why I think when the Jets do their homework and look at what they need, Jermaine Johnson's gone. Will McDonald, they have to decide on his 5th-year option if he's going to be here in a few years. David Bailey will cover all those tracks, man.
You have to go.
That's what I would do.
You have to.
That's my opinion. I think Reese is too much of a projection at edge.
All right, yeah, because
it's between those two.
Because
you gotta.
I was only asking because the Giants secondary had question marks on it leading into, last season, 2025 season, but everyone was looking at it on paper. Look at what Kayvon Abdul and Brian Burns could do. Brian Burns was the one who had a lights-out season. The other 2 of those guys had, good, decent seasons, and you saw how the Giants' defense suffered because of that. So when you're relying so much on this pass rush and your premier pass rusher is a rookie per se, does that fix all of the problems within the secondary and the defense? But before we move on to get to the other picks, I'll ask you, is this a consensus sure thing within the fan base? You know the fan base, up and down. Do they boo this pick?
It's 50-50.
Okay.
It's probably more people are on, I would say, drafting Reese there. Probably
okay.
It's probably 60-40. Reese over Bailey. Another thing with David Bailey, we have to understand, he's gotten better every year. Started at Stanford, went to Texas Tech, got better. The last 2 years now, he's was the 2nd ranked edge out of 850 edges this year. Last year he was 1st in pass rush grade. But he got better. He almost doubled. He basically doubled his sack totals this year over last year. Pressure rates, he's a top of the class.
Yep.
You're talking you're not talking 100 guys. You're talking almost 1,000 guys. And this guy 2 years in a row is basically the number 1 rated edge in football. I mean, that's not by mistake, man.
Yep.
I don't know. People say he's a little stiff. All right. He's a little stiff. He runs a little upright. He's a little choppy with his steps. People say he runs like the Tin Man. I don't care. He's fast. He ran a 4.5.
Yeah.
He just ran he led all defensive linemen. And he said he could have ran a 4.47. Yeah. He was clocked. They had a thing, Bruce Feldman's freak list. He was clocked at over 22 miles an hour on a play. Yeah. That's what running backs do, man. There's nothing here that would suggest that would be a bad pick.
Yeah.
He's not great now against the run, setting the edge as an edge. Doesn't really hold guys up as well as some other players in this draft. But you're getting to the quarter. If you're getting to the quarterback 14, 15 times a year, ain't nobody care about how good you are against the run.
Not
I'm
at
just
all.
saying.
14,
you got to
15
get those sack numbers.
14, 15 times a year is going to get you Myles Garrett money. And, you can compare him to the 10-man as much as you guys want. But I tell you one thing that David Bailey has that the 10-man doesn't, and that's heart. That boy got that dog factor in him.
That's
so,
everything, bro.
hey, you're going to need that.
Edge.
I'm going to run through these next two picks. At number 3, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love. Look, he goes top 3. Not the top 5. Oh, my gosh. Hey, send that to Frankie. Send all that hate to Frankie, man, because I'll clap back again. At number 4.
He lit up the
Titans.
combine love,
Yeah, he
by
did.
the way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The kid's,
that's what propels him now in the top
kid's
5,
a dog,
top
man.
3, yeah.
Bijan Robinson reincarnated. At number 4, the Tennessee Titans, Robert Saleh takes Arvell Reese. So what that does for the Giants, the New York Football Giants, with the 5th overall pick of the 2026 draft, not the 24th pick, they select Sonny Styles, linebacker, hybrid, whatever you want to call him, just an absolute dog. You see him 6'5", 245, 83 total tackles, 43 solo tackles. I love the 6.5 TFLs, and then the forced fumbles and the INTs. If you see the INT, the boy showed that he's got some hands to him there. And here's why I picked him there. And I know everyone's probably going to be like, wait, I thought you guys said that you can't pick the same guy in the same spot. Again, this was before you see the board. He ran 4.46, 43 and a half vertical jump, 11.2 broad jump. Those are Calvin Johnson numbers. That shows that this kid is as explosive as if they come. And his little brother ran something crazy and tested crazy. Something's in the Wheaties. They're doing something it's the St. Browns and the Styles now as two freakish athletically families. But here's what has happened since then. It's a complete no-brainer that if you're the New York Giants, you're hoping this kid falls. Like, you look at it, you cut Bobby Okereke to save money, $9 million on the cap. Sonny Styles runs what he runs, and then they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with Micah McFadden. Are you going to re-sign him to like a 1-year deal? What is it going to be a prove-it deal? Micah McFadden has shown that he is a serviceable linebacker. He is one of the top linebackers in the NFL when he's healthy.
Yep.
But he struggles to be healthy. So what I predict the Giants doing, because you can't just have a Sonny Styles come in, wear the green dot right away. You can't just have him come in as a rookie. You're trying to figure out where your locker is or how to get on route, how to do a U-turn on Route 3 legally, let alone how to call an NFL defense with 80,000 fans screaming. I look at the list of free agent linebackers: Quay Walker from the Packers, Devin Lloyd, Nakobe Dean, Alex Anzalone, who I like, Devin Bush. You're going to have to still go and grab one of those guys, one of those leader veteran guys like Devin Lloyd. Quay Walker, it could be a knucklehead sometimes, but he seems like he's got it together. Who's going to be that guy that's going to mentor this kid? You're going to sign one of these guys, not to no max contract, so it's probably not going to be the best backer available in free agency. You're going to have someone that complements Sonny Styles, someone that can help this kid adjust and become an NFL linebacker. So now, instead of putting him in a position like you had Bobby Okereke in, and no fault to Bobby Okereke or even Shane Bowen, with Micah McFadden hurt so much, you ask Bobby Okereke to do too much. You don't want to. If you're doing that to a vet, just think of how much it's going to mess up a rookie. So you grab one of these guys and you hope to re-sign a Micah McFadden. Now you got 3 serviceable linebackers, and now you just got to build depth around them. And now you allow Sonny Styles to, hey, as soon as you pick up the wheel, start learning Mike. As soon as you start learning Mike, we're going to start sprinkling you in some safety packages or some big dime or big nickel type packages, and then you're going to see this kid come on. So you're drafting him to be a day one dog, but I really don't see Sonny Styles really picking up and showing what he is, what he truly can be in the NFL until like week 6 to 8, to where the game has slowed down for him. And like Coach Coughlin used to say to us about the playbook, know and know you know. Once he picks up the X, the X's, the O's, and the Y's, and now he can play. He can put that 4.49 on tape because he's not thinking. Dog, absolute dog.
I think this would be a great pick for you guys, man. And you know the thing with Sonny Styles, that's the most interesting part of him as a prospect he can play basically any position on a defense.
Yeah.
I literally think if you
man.
put him at corner, he'd get away with it.
Yeah,
he could
man.
obviously play safety. He used to be one. He
Yeah.
could play edge.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could play D-tackle, but you know what? I think he'd get away with it. That's how that's the kind of athlete this guy is. He's incredible in space. And you don't have to take him off the field on third downs.
No, man.
You actually want him on the field. You want him covering.
Have to.
You want him on the field all the time. He's not a liability. You're not taking him off in a 3rd and 15.
Why?
Why? You don't need to.
Why?
You guys were probably flirting with that with Okereke a little bit. You couldn't keep him on the field all the time.
He had to, though.
Yeah.
Because, you had Jerome Musal, who, 5th, 6th round pick. Good. Wasn't great. Bobby Okereke had when Micah McFadden went down, Bobby Okereke had linebackers around him that Bobby had to do. He had to drop in coverage sometimes. You had to you just had to do too much for him. Now with Sonny Styles, he's not coming off that field. You go and watch the breakdown that I did on this kid. Plays the run. Third down, he can be detached, play underneath, drop to underneath intermediate routes, and then the 0 missed tackles in 2025. The kid will play underneath the deeper route, then go drive onto like a shallow cross or a check down, sit there, and it wasn't just like a wrap and roll type tackle. It was, hi, I'm Sonny, meet violence. Yum! And he's laying wood on people, Paul.
Yeah.
Like he's like out there, like really banging heads out there. The kid jumps out on tape. The only thing that I get scared of with him, and we all agree, he's this hybrid guy. He can do all those things. You know who I think of, what player I think of when I say this could backfire, taking him so low? Isaiah Simmons.
I was going to say that.
Isaiah Simmons when he came out of Clemson.
Isaiah Simmons has been playing pretty good lately, though.
But remember, what is he like? The 6th? What was he like? He was a top 10 pick.
He was a top pick.
Is he playing like a top 10 pick?
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. When you've got so many holes with the Giants defense, this guy has to be pretty much a Pro Bowler within 2 years. You don't want him to be like an NFL journeyman, like a Isaiah Simmons. This guy has to find a home here right away within this defense right away. My bad, cutting you off.
No, you're not cutting me off. The one thing with Sonny Styles also that I'm concerned with, just one thing a little bit. I wonder versus interior offensive linemen, guards and tackles climbing to that second level, getting in his pads. It's going to be a little difficult for him. He's a thinner build. He's incredibly strong.
Yeah.
We know that. He's an athlete, but I worry about that a little bit. But at the end of the day, he's going to shed those guys anyway. He's going to have some issues getting his head in the trenches and getting bodied a little bit up there. But he'll get bigger as he grows into his own body. These guys are so young, man, And it just shows what that Ohio State defense had with him, Arvell Reese, Caden McDonald, Caleb Downs. I don't know how they didn't win a championship, honestly. How did Miami put up 24 against those guys?
That's a knock to me, though, when you look at how deep an Ohio State defense can be. Because when you look at Ohio State corners, they usually don't pan out, especially the ones that go first round, because you had a front seven, like you could just sit on stuff and then jump it and catch it. Eli Apple, there's just a couple in my head. Marshawn Lattimore had, a pretty strong year.
Yeah.
Malcolm Jenkins had to move to safety. He had a good career, but when you think of some of those corners coming out of Ohio State or those cats from the secondary, it's like you didn't have much to do because the pass rush got there. So between him, we know what the ceiling could be, but the floor could be, no disrespect to Isaiah Simmons, but just not living up to that top 5 pick if they grab him. There's the ceiling's the ceiling, the floor is the floor, and then obviously coming from Ohio State's defense, that could be a good and bad thing. I don't know, but just it's with the way he did at the Combine, and then again the Bobby Okereke situation getting released. It just seems like it's a wrap there for him.
And he's a very smart player.
Very
Brandon.
smart. Very smart.
Harbaugh's going to love a player
Absolutely.
like that. He'll set your defense. You don't have to worry about it. He'll make the right calls and adjustments on the
NFL
front there.
pedigree, too, because of his dad. Yep.
Totally.
Yep.
Totally.
Yep. All right. I got it right, guys. Now say something nice to me in the comments so I can read to my kid that people like his dad.
So, looking at the next kind of cluster of picks, the one interesting pick here that we were going back and forth on is Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain, the arm length is real. I know people don't want to discuss it. I understand it. Who cares? He's under 31-inch arms. I get that. I'm kind of like that. I hate judging guys based on metrics like that or measurables. But it's real. And if tackles get into you and you can't separate, it's real. That's a reality. Now, he's extremely violent, Ruben Bain. So he manages to wrestle with guys, and he wins a lot of times. But you got to project it out at the NFL level versus NFL offensive linemen. We had him going 7 to the Commanders.
Yep.
They've been rumored to be in this edge market. I was talking with some people at the Post. We were thinking about maybe going with Mansour there, or maybe if they're looking at a receiver. Then we ended up taking Tate right after.
Yeah, with the Saints taking Tate at 8.
At 8, and then I think the Chiefs now with that trade they just made, getting McDuffie out of town. Mansour Delane, if he's there at 9, I don't know how they're going to pass up on that guy.
You can't. And that's somebody that I thought, the Giants could take at 5
So did
as
I.
well.
Yeah,
when you got a new defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson, you got to give him his piece. So you got to give him his glue guy, his staple. Do you get him a Sauce Gardner? Do you get him a Denzel Ward or the corner for the Texans, Singletary,
Stingley,
Derek Stingley? Do you get him one of those? Or do you get him his linebacker and his Sonny Styles or his Kyle Hamilton and his
Caleb
he
Downs. Plays like Mansour a little bit. He plays like PS2.
Does he really?
He does.
He's
got that big body.
Yeah.
He reads it. He knows when to jump on the ball, but he doesn't really. He's not overly aggressive necessarily where he's at a position. He's just always controlled. That's the thing with corners, man. You want to control that side of the field. You want to control the game that the quarterback and wide receiver are trying to put together.
Yep.
I'm in control.
Yep.
You ain't gonna do whatever you want. You're not having your day with me today.
Yep.
So he establishes that.
I don't like my corners handsy. When I watch tape on corner, it's like you can't do that on first dates. You can't do that at corner. Can't be too handsy because it doesn't translate to the NFL. At 10, we've got Caleb Downs going to the Bengals. We've had that before. I think they haven't had a all-star there since Jesse Bates. At 11. We have Ty Simpson, your guy. You got Ty Simpson going to the Miami Dolphins.
You brought him up before me.
There you go, man. At 12, Jermod McCoy going to the Cowboys. 13, Monroe Freeling going to the Rams.
Who's been shooting up boards since the combine.
Yes, he has. Yep. Yes, he has. The Ravens at 14 go Jordan Tyson. I think that'll be a great pick for Lamar Jackson. He's just going to have to stay healthy for him. Spencer Fano with the Bucks. Baker Mayfield gets a tackle, and then at 16, you are back on the clock, sir.
Dun 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 dun. All
Is that
right,
the official
boys and gals.
That's your theme music right there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Jets need a wide receiver.
Do they?
Yes, we do. We need somebody that's going to be opposite of Garrett Wilson. But more importantly, we need somebody to play a little bit in that slot. Someone that's an inside guy, outside guy, runs those crossing routes. We need a dog, too, at receiver. We need a dog. We need somebody that opposing defenses are going to think about and they're going to scheme against. I'm taking one of my favorite players in this draft. He is my wide receiver 3, but that's not to say I wouldn't take him in
deep
the
class,
top 16.
Though. Deep class. Yep.
First 2 guys are great, Tate and Tyson. So there's no shame in being the 3rd receiver in this draft. Mekhi Lemon, man. Mekhi Lemon at 16 makes so much sense for the Jets. This guy doesn't drop the ball ever. This guy gives corners fits because you know what this guy does? You know what this guy does that's special about his game?
What's that?
People talk about how receivers accelerate. You know what he's good at doing? Decelerate.
Yeah.
Tempo. Corners don't know what he's doing. He has corners in fits. They're confused. They don't know where he's going. And when that ball's up in the air, it's everything in Mekhi Lemon's will. It's everything to him to get his paws on that ball. He doesn't care what's going on around him. That football's mine, and he makes sure it's his. The guy is just exactly what you'd want out of a receiver in today's NFL.
Yep.
Today's NFL, things are open. You got to scheme guys up. It's why Amon-Ra St. Brown is who he is. It's why Puka is who he is.
Yep.
You look at that Parker Washington kid in Jacksonville. Look at that last game he had. 5'11" kid, Penn State guy.
I like him.
Yeah, fifth rounder, though. But, it doesn't matter. Mekhi Lemon at 16 changes what the Jets can do on offense. Mekhi Lemon at 16 helps your quarterback next year. And that's just what they need to do. They need to get a receiver in this draft. I think if he's there at 16, you just take him.
You know how the last 2 drafts I have entered my channel, Garrett Wilson, when I have talked about your picks at 16, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be Garrett Wilson here, and I'm going to go from the movie Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson talking to you for your picks at 16. He's going to go, just when I thought you couldn't do anything more stupid, you go and draft Mekhi Lemon at 16. And totally redeem yourself. That's what I'm talking about, Frankie. There you go. Now you're listening to Garrett. You're listening to Garrett about getting him help. Last week it was Jordan Tyson, who we both agree we love, but the best ability is what? Availability. And if he was out some games, I feel like Garrett Wilson would be like, I'm still getting double. I still have no help here. This kid, Biletnikoff winner, this kid, like you said, he is going to be who Joe Douglas wanted Malachi McCorley to be in terms of doing all the dirty work, short intermediate routes. He's your Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's that guy to where when you see that safety shade over on G5, and you're like, all right, Garrett's getting doubled again. They got a nickel on Lemon? When life gives you lemon, you do what? You make a hell of a wine spritzer or lemon spritzer or something. And this kid is going to get whatever quarterback you have, because there's still question marks there. He is going to be a walk-in. He'll be an 80-catch guy in his rookie year.
Totally.
Those USC dudes, just like the Bamas, the LSUs, and the Ohio States, those receivers from those schools, they come in day one ready. Jordan Addison, those guys, they come in ready to dominate on day one. And this is a guy, you don't have to put him on the perimeter outside of Garrett Wilson. I think having a weapon in the slot outside of Garrett Wilson or next to Garrett Wilson,
think about that.
That's going to be even deadly. Great job with the pick.
Appreciate that, man. And I'll say this. You know what I love about Mekhi Lemon also?
The way he was talking at the combine.
Yeah.
Him and Adam Gase, I don't know.
What I love about Mekhi Lemon is his balance. He's so balanced, man. I was telling my buddy the other day, I'm like, guy's like a cat. It's like when he ran that gauntlet drill, he ran in a straight line.
Crazy.
A total straight line. I have basically full speed-ish, 85% of his full speed. That's what you can do with him. You got to scheme him up now. But if you tell him you're running this route and you're going to go there and this is what you're going to do, he's getting to the point that he needs to get to so effectively. What's the fastest way to get somewhere? In a straight line. So he's going to do a lot for offensive coordinators in terms of what they can put together.
And just to give you guys some sort of context of where you're talking about that gauntlet drill, can I kind of, before we move on and round out the rest of these picks, the reason why that gauntlet drill is so important, because when you're running down that straight line, if you've got a guy that, if he's a body catcher, X him off the list. Remember, hashtag no body catchers 2026. I'm starting that movement. 2, if he's a guy that's fading away from the ball off that line, that's what they're looking at. Do you step toward the quarterback or do you fade away? Because if you're fading away, you're losing your separation from the route, from your break. And now you're playing right into the defender to where he can knock it out or get some sort of contact on you. But if you're what we call QB friendly and you're stepping across the line towards the quarterback, now you've created even a little bit of extra space. So that's what that gauntlet drill does. It sees if you're staying straight ahead like that, that's a plus. But if you're one of those guys that can step back to the quarterback, catch it, get back on your line, step back towards the quarterback from the other way, catch it, get back on the line. Those are the guys that this guy's got pure hands. This guy has confidence in his hands. So the fact that you just pointed that out, you don't want to bring in a guy. If I'm not throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson, whoever I'm throwing it to, Mason Taylor, Breece Hall, whoever it is, Mekhi Lemon, you better catch it because that's a wasted ball that I could have got to Garrett because his catch radius is insane. So I like the probability over there. So a guy that on 3rd and 13, G5 is doubled. We need a play. Mason Taylor, run this clear out corner while I have, Mekhi run the option, whatever it is, the basic, whatever it is. He's going to come down and have a hands catch. Will it be a big play? He's got yak ability, but at the end of the day, you just got to get the first down first, and then whatever you do after that, we got a paycheck for you at a later date for doing that for us. So Mekhi Lemon, I think that I'm hoping for you guys that he falls there at 16 because the boy's a dog.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, man. Draft day for sure is going to be an interesting one.
Quickly round up the rest of it. Let's run through this. Yeah,
some picks that are interesting here that we put together at the post. Shout outs to everyone working on this stuff.
Yeah, man.
Everyone does a lot of work in here, and it's always quality stuff. Kenyon Sadiq at 21 to the Steelers is an interesting one. Sadiq lit it up at the combine. I mean, he had one of the fastest 40 times ever for a tight end. Pittsburgh needs a tight end. Some people have him going to the Eagles. I don't think he gets to 23. I really don't. So we kind of were thinking, let's put him at 21. It makes a lot of sense for Pittsburgh. They need an offensive weapon, too. They need a wide receiver, too. So you kind of get both in one there.
I think your boy Ty Simpson may go 21 to the Steelers.
I think Ty's going to go in the top 15, man.
Okay, all right.
There's a lot of buzz around him. And, again, he's in a class that's weak. So if anyone needs a quarterback, he's clearly going to be the guy you're targeting.
I like the Denzel Boston at 24. Now you got Shedeur Sanders, somebody you can pair him up with Jerry Jeudy. You got that big 6'4" receiver that can go up, make plays for the football. That's a pretty solid pick for the Browns there.
Yep, and then we have at 21, now that the Chiefs made that trade, they're drafting at 29, excuse me.
Yep.
So the Chiefs at 29 will be, we think, maybe looking at receiver. Chris Bell was obviously hurt last year, but he projects out with first-round talent.
Mm-hmm.
I think you look at Chris Bell or the other Chris Brazel out of Tennessee. He had a crazy 40 time also.
Yeah.
And at 6'4", when you're running in the high 4.3s, low 4.4s consistently like Chris can, I'm looking – he might be that Chiefs guy because they're looking for a downfield threat. But Chris Bell – is more of an all-around wide receiver. So I think the Chiefs are going to address wide receiver there. It's a perfect spot, too. They can even look at Omar Cooper Jr., who we had the Bills taking. We had this before the trade happened for DJ Moore. They might still get a receiver, though. I mean, the more the merrier. You got to give Josh help. So, yeah, some interesting stuff. We had Eli Stowers going to the Broncos. They need a tight end. The more film I watch on that kid at a Vanderbilt, the more that you really get a sense of how that kid can play. Former quarterback. Understands it. Tall build. Colston Loveland-ish. So, Stowers out of Vanderbilt to Denver makes sense. You got to give Bo some help there.
I know we're both Jets and Giants, but just looking at this mock draft 3.0, the Chiefs won that first round. The Chiefs with Mansour, Delane, and then the Chris Bell. Like the Chiefs, they won that first round.
You can argue at the top of their class at their position.
You want to close this out today?
You close this out.
You're
better.
Close out.
Go ahead.
You're
the host,
I like 3.0. We're cooking. We're cooking. I can't wait to see the comments.
Host, man,
can't wait to see the comments on this one, man. I thank you everyone for watching, hanging out with us. This has been fun. For Frankie Vittorini, B London here. Thanks for watching our New York Post mock draft 3.0. See you next week for 4.